Hey guys, welcome back to Exit Corners. And yeah, so here's what happened last time. We're now officially in Arc 2. We did two chapters, Chapter 22 and Chapter 23. So, and another pillar has gone down, so there's only two pillars that's holding up the hotel now. So, yeah, that's worrying. And also, Beth died. I'm really sad about this. And they think she might have been killed by a trap. They saw a bruise at the back of her neck, and there was no glass underneath her body. And Sent said she died because Sent was scared, which doesn't really make sense to me, but maybe she was on the verge of discovering something critical, so that's why he killed her. And I really don't know how she died. For the possibility of murder, Ray has no alibi, he was just resting alone. Ether found the body, so she's not exactly 100% clear either. Um, Liza and Ink have an alibi, and Sean and Tiana has an alibi. So if it's murder, then it's probably Ray or Ether. Yeah, we're gonna get justice for Beth. Yeah. Alright, another huge bombshell in the episode was that we found out that Liza's actually blind. So that explains her slow texting and her peculiar gestures. Um, it also explains why she wants to marry because she doesn't know what she looks like, and that the fact that she knows someone with a disability, it's herself. And she can lose sight as a penalty as what happened during her elevator ride, so that's why she was screaming. And the condition is that she can only tell her dad. So, and there was a note that said to not trust anyone else because they're going to harm her. So that's why she was distrustful and paranoid at the start. And she said herself that because of her condition, she can miss details because she's not used to using her sight, or that sense done something to her. So yeah, I'm glad we got this whole thing about Liza figured out. Um, yeah, we did notice that they did bring up that there were bathrooms in the hotel, but they're all locked for some reason. And I'm beginning to notice that the walls for some of the hallways have really weird um paintings, or like a lack of a painting in this one. So yeah, I don't know what that's about, but I guess we'll find out eventually. Yeah. And now we're back. Chapter 24, Down in Dumps. Ink stood cross-armed at the back of the hallway, shoulder to the wall. As he watched the younger contestants huddle around the monitor, his mind began to wander. Beth, what happened to you? How am I supposed to solve this? Why did you give me this letter? The very same letter was still tucked smugly against his breast. He reached for it, running his finger along its edge, but ultimately left it where it was. No, I promised I wouldn't. Not until we've escaped. You've put your trust in me, so I'm going to do the same. He rummaged through his brain for anything that might prove useful. He had read his fair share of mystery novels. Surely some way where a factoid could help him here. Hey, think you can help us out here? I know you probably got your mind on other things, but I think you'd be a big help with this one. Is that right? It's a word puzzle. If anyone can solve this one quickly, it's you. I am making some headway, so if you rather keep thinking on what killed Beth, no, it's fine. I'll give it a go. Maybe all that reading of yours will come in handy for once. Lord knows I'm not getting anywhere fast. Maybe if you spent less time cracking jokes and hitting Eliza, you'd be better off. You'd be better at solving these. True, true. So why don't you solve it, smart guy? Ray shot. Ray shot Sean a piercing glance, then redirected it towards Ink. I can't believe you actually hang out with this Joker. He does love his jokes. That wasn't a compliment. You could do better than this waste of air, Ink. The others turned to leave, but Ink couldn't let the conversation end that way. Guys, wait. What do you want? Listen, I know this won't seem important to you, but I want you guys to stop putting down Sean so much. With the way he's acting, he deserves it. Yeah, I agree with them. He's making fun of a dead person. So, a little, sure. He takes jokes too far sometimes. I get that. Buddy, don't worry about it. I can handle it a little teasing. I don't want these guys to think of you as some callous jerk. That's not you. The Sean I know is considerate, patient, uplifting. Don't forget handsome, hilarious, and did I say handsome? Ink grinned. You could always count on Sean to cheer him up. Listen, Sean, I want him to know that what you did for me. Does have to be rich. Okay, so a little over a year ago, I was in a rough spot. I had just started at BBU. Now this may come as a shock to some of you, but freshman Ink didn't have very many friends. I guess nobody from high school went to the same college as you? A few of them did. If you grew up in Belbridge, it was pretty common to hop on over to BBU after high school. The problem was that I actually started university a few years later than my peers. I needed some time to myself, had a bit of a personal reboot. I was going through stuff, coupled with an awful workload and ludicrous dorm costs. I was in a pretty bad spot. Anxiety, depression, the odd panic attack. I was down in the dumps and had no one to turn to. What about your parents? Liza, don't. We're not really on speaking terms at the moment. Haven't been for some time, unfortunately. Why else would I have moved into the dorms when I could have just stayed at home? Of course, I'm sorry to have brought that up. Toxic parents. How awful. Don't worry about it. It's in the past now. There was a brief lull as ink mulled over Eva's comment. She knew. She knew my parents were a sore spot. That's why she tried to stop Liza. Was that her clairvoyance, I wonder? Come to think of it. She lives in the dorms too, doesn't she? I wonder if his situation is similar. He shook his head, cursing himself for losing his train of thought. Anyway, I wasn't doing well. All I had were my books, which even then were barely enough to keep me sane. One autumn day, I made a spur-of-the-moment decision to visit a campus pub. There was an event going on there, but to be honest, I don't even remember what it was. And that's when I ran into Sean. Rather, he ran into me, walked right up to me, and started chatting like we were longtime pals. I recognized Ink from high school. We didn't really hang out back then, but we met at a bookstore downtown maybe a year or two after graduating. I told him to consider going to BBU, and hey, he eventually did. Honestly, he looked like he could use a friend. We started hanging out a bunch more after that. Sean helped get me out of my shell. I'd actually leave my room sometimes, started socializing more, went to a few parties even. I don't know what kind of rut I'd be in if it weren't for him. So say what you will about him, but he was literally the only person who tried to make a connection with the lonely kid in the corner of the bar. Ask yourselves, would you have done the same? Would any of you have reached out? Silence. The answer, it seemed, was a resounding no. Sure, Sean's on edge today. Sure, his stress is manifesting in weird ways, but he's a decent guy. Well, sorry, I guess. The other contestants turned back to the puzzle, sheepish looks on their faces. We should, get back to the puzzle, probably. You didn't need to do that, Ink. No, but I wanted to. Thanks, Bob. I hope we can continue to hang together when this is all over. I mean, like, I hope we don't die and stuff. I mean, you know what? I should probably just stop talking. Never change, Sean. Why don't we give him a hand with a puzzle, eh? I was hoping you'd say that. A word puzzle, is it? Sounds right up my alley. Time to solve this thing. Okay, requirement. Valid spelling, both down and across. Okay, so... Oh, there we go. Here we go. Some tricky words, but not too bad overall. We're as fast as ever, Ink. Thanks for lending a hand. I sure am glad the rest of you are good at word puzzles. It was still a bit more challenging than I hoped. I say we solved it fast enough. Doors unlocked, right? Why? Ugh, goddamn this. Sean jolted forward, dry heaving at the end of a gruesome lunge. Ugh, fucking thing. Do you want to sit down for a moment? No, I'll be fine. Sean struggled through a few more wet, phlegmy coughs, then took a deep breath and went into something of a meditative state. Actually, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good. If you say so. Why don't we finally get this door open, huh? Good idea. Might want to be careful with this one. It looks sort of heavy duty. Sean winced, as he cracked open the door with a dramatic heave. Ugh, who farted? I don't smell anything. Me neither. Right. Must be my imagination then. Looks pretty dark. Let's be on our guard. Here, I'll have a quick look. Tiana was the first to poke her head through the door. See anything? The flooring on the underside seems to be a narrow mesh walkway. There's a single ladder heading down, so let's not all rush through it at once. Where does this ladder lead? Can you see the bottom? Just barely. It's a long way down. I could make out some kind of console and what looked like a lockbox. Oh, and I think there's a mirror in the corner. As I was through the door in a flash, even from the next room over, you could hear her hurriedly clamber down the ladder. Did I say something wrong? Oh, I get it. She wants to get to the bottom first because she's wearing a skirt, right? Is that the only thing you can think about? Kinda. Please cure yourself. Tiana whipped around and headed through the door herself, her hair nearly lashing ink in the face. So mean. What's a man gotta do to get some respect around here? Stop speaking and start listening. Fair point. What would I do without you, Ink? I mean, you probably drink more, and I guess you wouldn't be involved in this shitty death game. Rhetorical question, buddy. Rhetorical. Anyway, sounds like Tiana made her way down. My turn to jump into the snake pit, I guess. Hey, I don't know if I'll be able to help with this one. There's a good chance I won't be able to get down that ladder without hurting myself. And even if I do, there's no guarantee I'm going to be able to climb back up. I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize. You've done more than enough today. Please don't overexert yourself. Yeah, you should stay up here. It'll be easier for everyone. Yeah, how do you climb ladders if you don't have an arm? Yeah, I don't think yeah, that wouldn't work. Thanks, guys. I'll be right outside. Yell at me if you need my attention. Will do. Suppose I'll head down next. Can I have a word? Of course. What's up? If you've been paying attention to the 4 Elements wing layouts, you'll know that this room is definitely a corner, no question. I figured the same thing. The weird scene Tiana described, I'm all but certain of it. Nobody wants a repeat of the last one. Yeah, I think this might be Ink's room because we had a word puzzle, but I'm not sure. Make sure they don't stick their arms into some fucking box thing. You couldn't help but snicker at the comment. Yeah, I guess that sounded pretty stupid. Still, I'm counting on you to keep everyone safe. I'll do my best. I know you will. Good luck, man. Taking a deep breath, Ink turned away. He wasn't going to let Ray down. With that, Ink trudged through the door. The smell of rust and stagnant water overtook all else. The walkway Tiana described was only a few feet wide. Ink shimmied across the dimly lit mesh, stepped onto the solitary ladder, and began to climb down. He had no choice but to move slowly. The flaky rungs were dangerously damp. His feet eventually touched down on rough cement. Gross. No kidding, make sure to watch your step. It's a little slippery in here. Just so you guys know, Ray won't be joining us. I don't think we should have him climbing any ladders in his current state. Yeah, sure. Come give us a hand with this console. It's just a blank screen right now. Let me have a look. As Ink neared a peculiar construct, he couldn't help but notice the awestruck girl in the corner of the room. One sec, actually. Oh. She finally sees herself. That's cool. Hey, you, okay? This is so weird. In a good way? I don't know. Just weird. Is that really me in there? Or some stranger? I don't recognize this person at all. I thought it all makes sense, but now I'm just more confused than ever. Silence reigned for a time. Eventually, a fidgety Liza managed to peer herself away from her smudged looking glass. She caught a tiny cough into her elbow. He couldn't get a good look, but he suspected there was some amount of blood involved. I'll just go ahead and say it. This one's obviously my corner. Oh, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. There's a mirror, yeah. Well, we don't know that for sure. Don't play dumb with me, Ink. Liza's voice was laced with acid. She was right, of course. The mirror left little room for doubt that this corner was meant for her. So clearly, there's a lot you failed to tell me. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm pretty lost. I don't, know how much we can tell you, but... So we're looking for these key cards, right? So far, each one we found was at the end of one of the hotel's color-coded wings. Each involved some sort of personal challenge. The first was aimed at Beth and nearly drove her to self-harm. The second was Ray's, and, well, you know what happened there. Liza suspects that this corner is hers, and really, that's all you need to know. Let's all work together to make sure that no harm comes to her, or anyone for that matter. Gotcha, gotcha. So if we're talking keycards, it's probably in this lockbox, right? That's a safe bet, yeah. Has anyone tried a hand scanner? We wanted your opinion on this stuff before you touched anything. Let's try it then. It's not like there's much else to do in here. That scanner is currently inoperable. Salutations. Long time no see, Sen. To what do I owe this pleasure? I am here to provide instruction for this corner, nothing more. Go on then, what's the deal with this place? Before I begin, I would like to confirm the participation of everyone in this room. I must close, seal, and lock the door above, you see. I don't suppose you can tell us what's going to happen once the door's locked? I unfortunately cannot. Figured as much. He turned to the other contestants in the room. Anyone want to opt out of this one? The question was met with silence. They were in it for the long haul. We'll all be participating, except for Ray. Leave him out of this. Very well. So begins our third corner. So how do we get out of here? And how do we get the black key card? On the subject of the black key card, voila, it is now yours to take. Sure enough, the lockbox had unclasped itself. Ink leaned forward, flipped open the lid, and fished out a familiar-looking keycard with a dark crest emblazoned upon it. There's no way that's it. What's the catch? Ink steeled himself, dreading the worst. In 30 minutes, the grates at the bottom of this chamber will begin to discharge a sulfuric acid mist. The concentration will steadily increase over the course of 20 minutes. Yeah, that's what Sean smelled when he entered. Ink crossed his arms, nearly unfazed. Something about Sen's threat seemed less than genuine. At the very least, it was incomplete. I'm no chemist, but sulfuric acid, I'm guessing that's lethal? Well, it's no hydrochloric acid, but yes, it's lethal. Slow and painful to boot. Precisely. Inhaling it will be unavoidable. As mentioned earlier, the door at the top of the ladder has been sealed tight. In order to escape, you must, of course, unseal it. While the mechanism that opens the door is a simple one, the accompanying decision is anything but. Please note the hand scanner to your right. The door at the top of the stairs will be unlocked for as long as a pulse is detected upon said scanner. Oh, so they had to sacrifice someone. Got it. The moment a pulse is no longer detected, the door will close and reseal itself automatically. Wait, then how? Horror crept onto Eva's face as she added 2 and 2 together. How would the last person escape? That's just it, my dear. They don't. You can't. I must. Shut your mouth, you piece of shit. Calm down, Sean. We'll find a way out of this. How? I could put my hand on the scanner, then you guys could wedge something in the door. Absolutely not. Even if you somehow manage to impede the hydraulics powering said door, such an act would be against the rules. My patience has all but evaporated. Defiance will be met with the death of every contestant. The gears in Ink's mind came to a grinding halt. You cannot change your reality, you can only color it. Someone will die in this room. Your only choice is whom. Oh, and here's one final piece of advice for my wonderful contestants. A message lies hidden somewhere in this corner. It will not alter your fate, but it might make your decision slightly easier. I have a feeling that one of you might have what it takes to pinpoint this key piece of information. That's enough for me now, I suppose you want to have a circular argument, or some such, or perhaps a pulling of straws is in order. However you come to your decision, know that you've less than 30 minutes to do so. Remember that by doing nothing, you're damning your fellow contestants to a horrible, painful death. Silence is submission, apathy is compliance, inaction is murder. So, I beseech you, do nothing. Or you could die. Ink had nothing to say, no one did. The other contestants stood behind him, shocked, furious, vacant. One even thought to consult her reflection. Everyone seemed to share a certain numbness. Is that it then? Is there nothing I can do? I was so naive to think that Beth would be Sen's last victim. How could anyone be so cruel? How the hell are we supposed to decide something like this? Where's this hidden message? Could it help us? No, doesn't matter what it is. There's no escaping this damn choice. For the rest of us to live. One of us has to die. I mean, speaking of uselessness, I think I don't think Liza has actually helped in any of our puzzles, so she could go. But like, she's a likable character, so I want her to stay. But yeah, Eve is pretty important in puzzle solving, so she has to stay. Um, Sean helped in that one puzzle, so he's not a total liability. So yeah, but he's not very likable. And Tiana, I don't know. I think she might be useful. Like she seems intelligent, but like I don't know if she actually is. So we'll have to see. Oh, okay, that was the end of the chapter. Okay, so let's continue on to chapter 25, to leave behind. He could barely breathe. The rancid humidity wasn't to blame, nor the stench of rust and refuse. No, it was fear that had sucked the air from his lungs. Dark and damp, the black corner reminded Ink of the inside of a storm drain, not that he had ever seen one. An awful place to die, no doubt, and an even worse place to die alone. I don't even know where to begin. Nobody wants to so much as suggested something. I think the routers probably all realize that the first thing to be suggested is going to get shot down immediately. But we've got 25 minutes left at most. We can't just stand around forever. What's our best play? At long last, Tiana broke the silence. I'm not doing it. That's okay. It very well better be. God only knows why I got dragged into this mess, but I'll be damned if I'm going to die for you people. Not that I blame you, but like, do you think the rest of us are here because we want to be? We got roped into this against our will, just like you. Please, it's becoming increasingly clear to me that exit corners isn't my game, it's yours. You've all been playing longer. You're still clearly keeping secrets. And didn't Liza mention that this was her corner? Why am I here? Who knows? Just leave me out of this. We're not going to force anyone to do this. That would be murder. Whoever stays behind will need to come to that decision on their own. And what if no one comes forward? I don't know, but first, is anyone willing to volunteer? No, hell no. Hey, easy. She was just asking an obvious question. Someone had to. Sorry, I can't. I've got a lot lined up. I understand. I take it you're not going to volunteer either. You wouldn't be going around asking everyone otherwise. Sorry, there's no way I could go through with it. No need to apologize. Like you said, we're not going to force anyone. Though, I should probably mention that I'm not looking to stay behind either. That leaves me, huh? Sorry, but I won't be staying. I've got a master's to finish. So no one's willing to stay. That's hardly surprising. I mean, nobody wants to die, right? Say, didn't Seth say something about there being a clue hidden somewhere in this room or something? I don't doubt it exists, but Seth said I wouldn't change the fact that someone would have to die. It would only make the decision easier. Now, I'm not sure what he means by that, but if I know Sen, this message may be more harmful than helpful. But like, what else are we supposed to do? No one will volunteer. As it stands, without Sen's hidden clue, you really only have two options left. I thought you didn't want to be a part of this. I don't, but if the rest of you don't come to some sort of agreement, everyone dies. So even if I'm never going to volunteer, it's in my best interest to try and help you land on a decision. Fine, what is it then? As I was saying, if nobody is willing to die here, you can do one of two things. Option 1 would be to cast a vote. We are not voting to kill someone. Didn't think you would. In that case, you need to pick someone at random. Someone other than me, of course. I don't know about that. That seems pretty extreme. What's the matter? Just draw names from Liza's bag or something. It'd be the simplest, fairest way to do it. I'm not sure I like that, but assuming Ink, Aoife, and Sean agree to it, I have a 75% chance of making it out alive. Yeah, but like, I think it should be fair, and Tiana should also be part of this drawing. Yeah, just saying, because no one wants to die. Like, certainly not the best odds, but given the circumstances, it might be our only choice. 75% looks a lot better than 0%, don't you think? I don't like that idea one bit. Yeah, what the fuck? We are not pulling names from our hat. Would you even suggest that? Ugh, damn it, bad timing. Well, unless you look for sense in a message, that's your only option. Anyone have any ideas where it might be? Yeah, maybe. This mirror's got to be here for a reason, right? It must be related to Sense Hidden Clue. Have you noticed anything unusual about the mirror itself? Not yet, but give me a few minutes. Let me try a few things. Do you want a hand? I don't know if that'll help. I think the clue is for me to find. I'll never understand this game. Is it even in our collective interest to find this clue? Ink, is everything alright? Sorry, I was spacing out. Help us look for that message, will ya? I don't know if that's a good idea. For the last time, man, there's nothing else we can do. You can't just keep shooting down every idea. So unless you were planning on sacrificing yourself, get off your ass and start searching. Hmm. Um, yeah, let's get searching. Your, wait, was that voice from earlier? I thought it had left. Is it trying to get me to do stuff? What does it want from me? Yeah, so it looks like Ink is aware of like us trying to input our decisions. Something the matter? Okay, try not to panic. Just deal with this rationally. Hello? Is anyone there? Who are you talking to, bud? Sorry, Sean. Just give me a minute. Here. He closed his eyes and tried to concentrate. I'm not crazy, okay? I know something's up. Ink retched as a sharp pain ran its way up his spine and into his brain. He grabbed his head in defiance. Who are you? Answer me, damn it. Come on, say something. I know you're in there somewhere. Uh, might as well introduce myself. I'm Ink. Whoa, this is awkward. This isn't what it looks like. Um, hello. We are Ink. I knew I heard something. Congratulations. I know you aren't me though, so don't even try that shit. Maybe I wanted to see how you react. Or maybe not. Just who exactly are you then? What are you doing in my head? I'm afraid I can't answer that. Just my luck, even my own head doesn't feel like giving me answers. Your own head has its reasons. Oh, so you can tell what I'm thinking too, is that it? Thinking and speaking are not so different here. Hear me out, Ink. It would be better for the both of us if you pretended I'm not here. If you pretend I'm not here. I can just pretend there isn't someone up in my brain. Especially if you're trying to, control me. I'm not trying to control you, Ink. Are you sure about that? Because that's what it looks like. It was just a bit of prodding. You and the others weren't exactly being proactive. Listen, I can promise to keep quiet if you like. This feature has long since fulfilled its purpose anyway. I don't care about that. I just want some answers. Please, you must know something. That I might. Go? Shouldn't you be trying to escape? You've less than 20 minutes before your acidic execution. Ask yourself, is the truth worth more than your life? Both are important. I see. Very well then. Let's chat. What do you want to know? I'll ask again. Who are you? Are you the person behind all this? Not exactly. I'm an interested party, not an orchestrator. Can you explain what that means? No. Next question. Oh, come on. If you know something, please tell me. You're lucky I'm even entertaining your questions. You are in no position to be making demands. Fine. What's exit corners then? Is it just entertainment for you? Some kind of experiment, maybe? Oh, it's much more pedestrian than that. Sorry to disappoint. Tell me then, what's the point of this game? The game itself is irrelevant. What matters is the metagame. What's that supposed to mean? Are you gambling on our lives or something? You're rather quick to jump to conclusions, aren't you? Yeah. Well, you're not exactly giving me a whole lot to go off of. I just want to know the truth. I can understand your compulsion to find it, trust me. Unfortunately, I've been advised to not overload you with it. Your decisions, not mine, are important to exit corners. If you knew what I know, your decision making would be compromised. So this is some kind of experiment. Goodness, you're stubborn. I already told you that it wasn't. If all you're gonna do is jump to silly conclusions, why don't you just get back to the game? We wouldn't want this to turn into another four elements fiasco. Huh. Wait. What are you talking about? Did something happen here before? Not this place, the original Four Elements Hotel. There were a few casualties when the hotel shut down. Why have I never heard of this? Seems like it'd be big news for Bellbridge. Hard to believe I grew up here without once hearing about it. It was largely swept under the rug. Local officials were paid to keep it on the down low. Even in sleeping Bellbridge, they're exceptionally easy to bribe. How do you know about all this? I'm intimately familiar with this hotel and its history. Wait, really? I knew the owner. They made a killing off of this place. So why close it down? The Four Elements wasn't up to code. It was quite the fire hazard. At poor accessibility, the owner was facing a number of lawsuits. So after one last hurrah, it was destroyed. That is an interesting tidbit. Indeed, this place had quite the history, but that was over 15 years ago. It's hardly relevant now. How do I know you're telling me the truth? For all I know, you're just trying to distract me from the more important questions with some made-up backstory. That's an excellent point. How do I prove that I'm telling the truth? Let's see. Ah, I've got it. The Four Elements was infamous for housing a few dangerous guests over the years. Paranoid, the owner implemented a few emergency measures. As a result, even without any keys, all of the standard doors can be unlocked from the outside. Wait, really? How? You simply need to pull the door handle out, then rotate it counterclockwise. That sounds very illegal. It certainly was. Remember those lawsuits I mentioned? Huh, still, this is great info. We can use this as escape. It won't work on the door at the top of the ladder. In fact, it won't work on any door linked to one of Saint's monitors. But any of the dead-bolted doors, the trick should work fine. Give it a try and you'll see that I'm being genuine. Damn, I should have known better than to get my hopes up. Every kernel of knowledge is valuable in the right context. Anyhow, I've been advised to go quiet for a bit. What? You can't just leave me. We'll speak again later. No, we'll speak now. And no reply. Answer me. East, wake up. Ether? That's a real bad time for a nap, buddy. And that's Sean. Why are they yelling? Alas, Ink opened his eyes. Steadying himself from a nearby pipe, he pulled his sore body off of the floor. Ink, what happened? I'm not sure. You okay, man? Did any of you hear that? Hear what? Yeah, what do you mean? You mumbled something and just collapsed on the spot. How long was I out? About 10 minutes. I've been doing my best to keep track of time in my head. Oh, crap. I'm so sorry. I have no idea how that happened. Has anyone found anything useful? Not yet. Sen's message is still hiding somewhere. What about the mirror? Liza? Nothing yet. I'll keep searching though. But if we don't find anything in the next 5 minutes, I think we should draw names. That idea sucks. I'm not putting my name in. I don't care. You can do what you want. But you two would do it, right, Ink? Ether? You know? If it came down to it, maybe. Get out of here, Ink. I said I'm going to let you do that. Hey, calm down. That's only if we don't find the message in the next few minutes. So does that mean you're finally going to help look for it? Yeah, I give. Let's find it. Cool. Where should we look then? It feels like we've searched this whole room already. Give me a second here. Sure. Okay, so if I were sent, where would I hide an important secret? It has to be in the mirror, Ink. Why are you so convinced of that? It just feels right. Just smash it. Besides, it's the only thing in this room that doesn't have a clear purpose. Are you sure about that? Because there's nothing else in this room that is just as superfluous. No, there isn't. Is there? It's a keyboard. We've never had to use that keyboard, not once. I think we ought to have a closer look. Sean, being the closest to the keyboard, stooped down to look at it. He placed his hands over the keys as if to begin typing. Anything seems different about those keys? It looks like a standard keyboard to me. Well, I guess the plastic's kind of fucked up. It's hard to find a name row, the home row. Huh? Let me see. Ink approached the console, kneeling to examine the keyboard. Sean was right. It didn't look suspicious. As Ink ran his hands along the keyboard, however, he instantly knew something was off. They're bumpy. Every single key. Hey, Liza. Yeah? There's no two ways about it. These keys have braille letters on them. I think you should give these a once over. Liza stepped forward and touched her hands to the keys. Gasping, her hands ran over the plastic. One by one, she touched each key in sequence. Liza, what's happening? Ignoring the question, Liza whipped out her Gemini and began to type. She's messaging her father? What does he have to do with this? After an uncomfortably long silence, it appeared that he responded. They sent a few more messages back and forth. Is that what you think, Dad? In a staggered series of motions, Liza stepped forward, extended her arm, and dropped her Gemini through a hole in the grate below. What? There was no reason for that. It doesn't matter now. I'm staying. What? Now none of you have to die. Get out of here before it's too late. Liza, don't! It's not worth throwing your life away. So you want to take my place, is that it? Well, of course not, so get out of here. It's very brave of you to do this. Thank you, Liza. With a sigh, Liza placed her hand on the scanner. Just get out of here before I change my mind. See, Sean? This is why I was hesitant to look for that message. Is this really all that bad, Phil? Uh, what the fuck? Of course it is. How can you even say that? It's heartbreaking, but having someone volunteer means we don't have to resort to voting or random chance. Yeah, but I don't want Liza to die. Do you want anyone here to die? Well, no, but then this is the best outcome you can hope for. Choosing someone against your will or staying behind yourself would only cause you more grief. You ought to be thankful for the sacrifice Liza is about to make. Let's get out of here before Sen kills us. Liza, thank you. Exasperated, Ian kicked a nearby pipe, nearly stubbing his toe. Damn it, Liza. Are you just going to let Sen have his way? It doesn't matter anymore. You won't be able to talk me out of this. I just want to know why. What did the message say? Why are you suddenly so set on doing this? It's pretty personal, you know. Please tell me, Liza. I don't want this to be my fault. Fine. The message said two things. Firstly, my father's liquidating his company. So, that was everything to me. I spent years preparing to take up the mantle of Thatcher Biometrics CEO, and just like that, it's gone. That was my one shot of doing something meaningful with my life. What? You know that's not true, Liza. I wouldn't expect you to understand. And what makes it all worse, the second part of Sen's message, was the news that I'm going to go blind again. Hold the fucking phones. Here. What did you just say? Ugh, I'm not going to go over this the second time. You can just fill you in after you've escaped. What did the message say specifically? Sen is going to disable my vision the moment I step foot outside of this hotel. I know that's within his power. He's done it before. Again, I don't expect any of you to understand. I had come to terms with my disability long ago, but I was so excited to finally see again. Having it taken away at the last minute is immeasurably disappointing. Oh, Liza. I'm sorry. That really sucks. This can't be the end, though. You've still got so much to live for. Do I? You've all seen firsthand how useless I am. I've been focusing on the wrong things for too long. I've got no skills, no sight, and no future. Hell, I barely have any friends. When I messaged my father about all this, do you know what he said? Don't be so selfish. And you know what? He's right. I hate it, but he's right. I am selfish. While the rest of you were searching for Sen's message, I was just staring at my reflection. But you thought, I don't care. A normal person would have started looking elsewhere within minutes. But I didn't. I was obsessed. Isn't that sickening? How fucking vain does a person need to be for that? So you know what? I'm done being selfish. I may not be able to do anything with my life anymore, but the rest of you can. Ink froze. Not in a million years could he have diffused this girl. Just promise you'll remember me, okay? I'll remember you, Liza, always. Looks like Eva's given up on talking her out of it. I guess I can't blame her. Is there really anything we can do at this point? Are you absolutely sure you want to go through with this, Liza? Yes. Even if it'll be painful? I feel like Sean and Tiana are just like out the door already. They're like gone. I don't want you to suffer, Liza. The thought of it. I already have a plan for that. What do you mean? I still have these, remember? Liza procured a small container from her bag and flashed it in Ink's direction. Yeah, oh geez, I forgot about those. Is that... Once you've all escaped, I'm going to take one. What? It's potassium cyanide. Even if I have to die, it doesn't mean I have to suffer. You're not actually going to go through with that, are you? Why would I not? I'll swallow the whole damn bottle if I have to. Liza took a defiant step forward as he spoke. Tiana wasted no time in backing right off. Liza, you're being belligerent. I'm saving your goddamn life. I can act however I want to, okay? I didn't know it was possible to feel so angry. It hurts to see you like this. Then get out of here. Lucky you. Lucky you'll never have to see me again. I don't care. Your time's almost up. Are you going to leave or are you going to stand around like idiots? What? Ink turned his attention back towards the terminal. Whoops. Sean? Sorry, Ink. Liza. What the hell are you doing? Stop goofing around. I ain't goofing. I'll keep the door open for the rest of you. Looks like you'll get your wish after all, Tiana. Sean, no, what's gotten into you? Like I said, Ink, I'm sorry. I've changed my mind. I already said I'd do it. Yeah, but you don't actually want to. You're just angry. Letting you go through with this would be irresponsible. Besides, I couldn't just let a pretty girl like you throw her life away now, could I? That'd hardly be gentlemanly. You're probably the least gentlemanly person I've ever met. Fair enough. Still, it'll leave a bad taste in my mouth. Don't let things end this way with your father. Escape from this place and go talk to him. You don't know anything. I know more than you think, little lady. Trust me on this one. You don't want to leave anything unsaid. A terrible dizziness gripped Ink as he was struck with the reality of what was happening. Sean, don't do this. How many times are you gonna make me apologize, huh? I know this sucks, Ink, but I'm going to ask you to keep your head up. How the hell am I supposed to keep my head up when my best friend is dead? There's always a chance I'll make it out somehow. Maybe this is some sort of test, you know? I may win a new car for being so selfless or something. Like, what would you do? Yeah, maybe you're right. Ink tried his best to show Sean a reassuring smile, but he knew full well that his friend's fate was sealed. We need to go, Ink. We're about 22 or 23 minutes in. Sean, there's nothing to say. Get out of here, you two. Also, might be a weird thing to say at a time like this, but I'm definitely shipping the two of you. Your timing kinda sucks, you know? Don't it? Now scrap. With nothing else to say, Sean turned his back on the others, his hand never leaving the terminal. Eva had to forcibly turn Ink around to get him to look away from his friend. She guided him towards the ladder. At its base was Liza. She looked hopelessly lost, perhaps even more so than Ink. I don't understand. It was supposed to be me. Don't just stand around, you two. You'll have plenty of time to be mopey when we escape. Sean doesn't have to do this. I can still... No, this discussion is over. Now start climbing. With some prodding from Tiana, Liza finally complied. Eva went up next, followed by Tiana. Finally, realizing he ran out of options, Ink scrambled up the ladder himself. He felt light as a feather. You expecting me to say something? I ain't great at goodbyes, you know? What am I supposed to do if you're gone? It feels like I wouldn't have a social life if not for you. You'll be okay, bud. You've come a long way since we first started hanging out. Ink watched his shadow dance on the floor below as he fidgeted about. I don't want you to die, Sean. Don't look so glum, bud. You've still got a game to finish. You seem so unfazed by it all. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm plenty upset. You're hiding it really well if that's the case. I don't want the last thing I say to you to be some expletive. I wish I could be more like you. I get panicking over everything. Oh, is that right? Want to trade places, then? Kidding. Just kidding, my guy. Should have seen the look on your face. Joking right up until the end. You gonna leave or what? I was planning on curling up into a ball or something. One last thing. I'll never forget what you did for me. Not just here, but back at PBU too. Thanks. Ink took a deep breath, tears welling in his eyes. Goodbye, Sean. See you around, Ink. Suddenly nauseous, he couldn't help but double over. First Beth, now Sean. How many more people have to die? I'm so sorry, Ink. The girl cocooned him in a tight embrace, which Ink welcomed with open arms. Her hood caught a few stray tears as they held one another in silence. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but where'd Ray go? Ink cleared his throat as Eva pulled away. I don't know. He said he'd be right outside. Do you think he went to the Blue Wing? Yeah, I don't see where else he could be. Let's check it out. We're headed in that direction anyway. Let's keep an eye out for him. Keycard in hand, Ink led the others through the main hallway and into the Blue Wing. The contestants walked in silence. Liza, seemingly off in another world, brought up the rear. Sure enough, as soon as Ink stepped into the Blue Wing's first hallway, he was greeted with a familiar face. Ray, what are you doing over here? We were worried about you. Hey, glad you guys are okay. Sorry for leaving all of a sudden. The door shut and locked itself, so I started yelling after you guys. Guess you couldn't hear me. I spent a few minutes trying to break the door in, but couldn't get it to budge. I felt pretty useless, so I came over here to see if I could find any more clues about what killed Beth. Well, were you able to find anything? Not really. The glass is kinda weird, I guess. I was only looking for the doorway. The glass. Oh yeah, the glass on the ground. Yeah. I love how he just didn't care that Shauna's not here. Wait, you didn't even go into the room? Leave me alone. I'm done taking risks for today. The exits stared one another down before Ray turned his eyes to the other contestant. Hold on. What happened to Sean? Okay, there we go. He's staying behind permanently. Oh, I'll be lying if I said I'll miss him, but I know he was your friend. Yeah, I'm with Ray. I'm sorry. Ink stammered something only barely resembling it's okay before sinking into silence. So what exactly happened in there? It was a corner. Use your imagination. That's not very helpful, man. The others can explain to you while I'm working on the puzzle then. What? You want to do it alone? Right. You never figured out what happened to Bev, did you? Think it'd be safe to try the puzzle? You don't have much of a choice. It's the only path forward at this point. That's why I'm asking to do this alone. I will be the only person at risk. Are you sure? It might be dangerous. Honestly, feeling pretty numb at the moment. That's probably the best time for me to try. If some kind of trap goes off, I'll just try to deal with it, I guess. Half a plan is still better than no plan. Good luck and stay safe. Thanks, I'll try. Get in, solve the puzzle, get out. Simple enough on paper. Bev's body hadn't moved an inch. Not that Ink had expected it to. Trying his best to ignore the cadaver, he gave the room a second run through, looking for any contraptions, traps, or tails. Just like last time though, he came up empty. No traps? Not that I can spot anyway. He turned to the monitor. Do I just go for it? Taking one last look around the room, Ink steeled himself and prepared for the worst. Shield to block. Okay. Oh. Shield to unlock. Okay. That's it. We're good. A nearby clicking sound had Ink spun about, ready to jump out of harm's way. But no, it had only been the clear clatter of the locking mechanism in the adjacent hallway. He sighed in relief. I should probably leave before I jinx it. Hey, everything went well, I guess. I think I heard a door unlock. It went fine. The puzzle was pretty easy, and somehow, there weren't any traps. Do you think it's possible that the trap could only be triggered once? That Bev's not the only one? It's possible, sure, but I wouldn't say it's likely. An idea itched at the back of Ink's head as the words left his mouth. Hey, Ray. Yeah? What's up? You mentioned something about the glass earlier. Could you elaborate? Oh, sure. The glass on the floor looks like float glass. What's that? It's the kind of glass used in modern windows and stuff. Most of the pieces are pretty flat, so it looks like this glass was originally a pane of some sort. So Beth was hit with a pane of glass? Yeah, like a window or something. That's my best guess anyway. Something the matter? Shh. Let me think for a sec. Ian closed his eyes and thought back on everything he learned today. The other contestants were all staring at him. Wordlessly, Ink turned back toward the room he just exited. Ink? What are you doing? Hey. Sen told me something interesting when we were alone once. Turning toward the washroom door, Ink resolutely gripped his handle and began to pull. He said that he controlled all of the electronics inside of the four elements. Makes sense, right? He's a game master, after all. He began to turn the handle counterclockwise. But why he word that statement the way he did? He controls all of the electronics? Why not just say he controls everything inside of the hotel, period? It's simple enough to guess why. If it's not electronic in some way, he can't control it. 90 degrees, 180 degrees. Take this door, for instance. Unlike most doors in this establishment, it's not hooked up to sensor network of monitors, meaning he can't stop me from doing this. The door opened with a pop as ink spun the handle all the way around. He placed his forearm against it, ready to push it all the way open, then paused. And you know what's really messed up about all this? It means Sen couldn't have ripped this painting off of the wall. And he certainly couldn't have bashed someone over the head with it. Ooh, so yeah, one of them did it. Damn. A quartet of gasps echoed out from behind him. I wish I had been wrong about this. I really do. At the very least, I'm glad I know the truth. Beth was murdered by a contestant. Hey, hooray. Let's go. Well, yeah, that was Exit Corners. Please hit like and subscribe if you want to see more of this, and I'll be back next time. Bye.